There we go, man. How are you?
I don't know what happened there.
No worries, man. No worries. Hold on, let me just check this. There we go. That's a little bit better. How's things?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Busy. Kind of day job getting in the way of the fun, but all good.
Absolutely. I tell you what, man. Your background there takes some going to beat, doesn't it? That's some like live setup background. Is that specially put together?
The only thing is it's actually back to front. I need to, when we got it printed. The idea was because we were talking about doing the golf day and things like that at the time, and obviously COVID hit. So the idea of that was going to be used as a banner for something along those. So we thought we'd do a bit of a tester and thought, well, I can use it for this. And it wasn't until we started doing things like this that a few people mentioned, ironically friends, said to me, you flagged around the wrong way. And I was like people kind of still get the gist. So at some point I might get something, I might get it flipped, but
to be fair, honestly, it's crazy because I looked at it and I just saw the logo. I didn't even really see that it was backwards. So
that's good then.
So yeah, man. So how's things? How's lockdown life been treating you? What do you do? It's a question I've not really asked many people so far in their life. So what do you do day job wise? What do you do? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't mind. I rarely talk about it because it's not particularly exciting. So basically, I'm a manager for an energy company. It's kind of without kind of going into more detail. So kind of relatively straightforward. Kind of, it's nothing too exciting.
I think it's interesting to know is because obviously that is quite a way removed from everything that you're doing on social media and that sort of stuff. So I think it's quite interesting to see the difference. I've not really asked many people. I'm going to have to start asking some more people if they don't mind being asked.
Joe, open stance. He got asked the other day. He did something. I think he said he's a junior solicitor or something like that. So it's quite interesting to see what kind of the kind of things that people. I've spoken to somebody else that's with another brand that's in advertising and all sorts. So you kind of forget when you get lost in this world that we've all actually got day jobs. Our dreams are to kind of do this full time, and it's certainly mine. But we've all got day jobs, most of us.
So tell me a little bit about your golfing history. Now, I have a buddy of mine who, when I put the advertising out that you'd be advertising sounds horrible. When I put the promo out that you were going to be coming on the live, buddy of mine, Mr. Jonathan Sharkey, the Shark as we call him.
Jonathan.
He slid very nice. I don't know if he's watching. I hope he is. But he slid into my DMs and he was like, "Dude, he's a member of the club that I'm at." So talk to me a little bit about your golfing history, my friend.
Well, that's really awkward. I don't know what he said, Jock. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Johnny for a little while. To be fair,
no, he said you're a good dude.
Yeah, oh good. That's good then. All right.
It wasn't like, God, man, what were you having this guy on for?
That's cool. I'm just lift my chair up. I realised I look like a dwarf. So basically I started long time ago, kind of started playing a little bit when I was younger, kind of with my dad and stuff like that, kind of go down the range. And then just kind of left it there, kind of discovered other avenues of life that we all do. And then basically got asked a few years back, kind of 2019, I think, summer 2019, if I wanted to go and be in a golf day, charity golf day locally. If you know the area, Royston Golf Club, quite a cool course.
I'm from Stevenage originally, so my aunt and uncle were in Royston, so man, very familiar.
Yeah. Interesting course. Definitely one for one in a car. Really kind of up and down and hilly. So anyway, they do a charity golf day there every year. So I got asked playing that, and kind of built from there. Got the addiction. Played a lot. Kind of threw everything into it. Went out and spent a small fortune at a certain brand. Got stitched up with a few clubs that probably aren't really suited to me, but
right.
That's still cool. Kind of hoping to go and see Orca at some point and get kind of set up on there, the best kept secret. So that's the plan. But so started planning that, and then just kind of just got obsessed from there. Really joined Johnny's club, and had a bit of a tumultuous experience there. They're quite a traditional club. So I kind of, but like the pros there, the pros make the club for me, and I'm not just saying that because Johnny's on there. Like Johnny gave me a lot of time in my really early stages of the AGC. I went and talked to him. I wanted to do an app at the time, and a few other bits and pieces. So I started talking to him about his perspective. So he was really good. And then basically just kind of been hacking around since then. Really, I've actually now left there because I want to have more time to be able to kind of go and play with other people and do a bit more of that kind of stuff. So
cool, man. Yeah. So, I hear the Sharkies are a bit of an institution. I think up there, having broken bread with Johnny and his dad. So I played a few years back in a PGA 4-ball championship that him and his dad played in, and staying. It was one of those like hotel type venues. Everyone stays on site. So I'd known Johnny through a few friends of mine. We did our PGA training together, and so they're his dad's a lovely guy as well. So definitely rubs off on Johnny because he's a dude, that's for sure. Yeah,
he's a good lad. He knows a lot of people as well. Kind of like I'd love to get over to America with him at some point. He knows some people over that way as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we had a buddy do our PGA together called Nick, who's gone over to America, married an American girl, had a baby, lives out there in Austin, Texas, and it's one of those ones where I'd love to get out there, man, to spend a bit of time out there. Obviously, COVID dependent and all that sort of stuff. Now you've got no idea length of time how long that's going to take.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah, like Austin seems to be the place to be at the minute as well. Kind of, it's kind of growing in not just kind of everything else, but certainly in the golf industry. Like obviously, Eric Ensling has kind of settled himself over there now, and RGC are over there, and everything like that. And it seems to have a real buzz about it as well. Kind of, which is pretty cool.
So obviously, one of the main reasons that I wanted to get you on for a chat is I love what you're doing. I love the idea of it. Talk to me about how it all sort of started, how you sort of came up. When was it that you came up with the idea? How, just everything about it.
So I guess the AGC itself kind of came from, ironically, playing at the club that we were just talking about, and kind of feeling like you walk on the golf course and like you just look like everybody else on the course, and you almost lose your identity. And for me, I'm kind of a lot about kind of how I express myself. I'm quite open and quite big in how I express myself. So I was walking on the course and just didn't feel comfortable. Any sport I'd kind of take up and, ask my wife, I throw myself into these sports and buy all the gear and everything, because for me, it's about being comfortable in what you're doing. And I was just finding that I was going around and like tucking myself in and just felt uncomfortable on the course. And it was hard enough already at a course that was already a bit like that, very traditional. So I just started looking into, kind of then discovered Instagram and started taking a few photos of when I was out and about, because I like doing photography stuff anyway.
Okay.
And just kind of started looking at the brands and started discovering mainly the American brands to start with. And I kind of looked at shipping them over here, and I was just like, the costs are just astronomical. And then kind of thought, well, what can I do about it? And then started the app idea came about, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the AGC was just originally to be an app, and then it just kind of developed into, well, let's look into the independent fashion stuff. And ironically, I spoke to, just as I was getting into kind of building a website, I spoke to Jordan at Fine Golf.
Okay.
I kind of found him, reached out to him and said, look, how do you feel about kind of you owning you doing the kind of the clothing side of the website? And he was just like, I'm doing my thing, let's talk in the future, and he is owning it. As far as the American stuff and over here, he's doing his thing, and he's doing such an incredible job of what I watched the one with you, and that's great what they're doing. And our paths didn't align at the time, but hopefully at some point we'll kind of together. So, and then I started looking kind of more at the brands over here, and kind of thought, well, what's happening here? And there must be something going on, and then started discovering them, and just came across more and more. And then it was just a matter of, right, what can we do with this? How can we put these into nobody's really kind of got home for these. There's so many brands all over the place across Instagram and emerging brands. And how can we give them a home? So like we said, we're not the home of independent golf, because I'm not going to put any claims like that out there. We are a home, a place that they can all be together. And then right, how can we showcase them to kind of launch it? And funny enough, James at Slice Tea, who says hi, by the way.
Yeah. Legendary artwork.
Yeah, superb. And I owe like all props to him, because he reached out to me and said, sounds like we're kind of talking about the same sort of stuff. And he kind of come up with the idea of the box. Kind of that was his main concept. He sent me through a few early images of it and said, what do you think to this? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. So we just kind of aligned, and like James was involved in the giveaway at Christmas, like a bit of a tester for us.
Yeah.
He was hopefully going to be in this one, but he's just, he wants to get his product right. And when it is come out, that's going to be really cool. Like the music fusion thing.
Definitely.
So then we launched the latest box, and that's kind of how we got to where we are, basically.
So when explain the box to the people that might be watching. What's in the box? How do you sort of determine what goes into the box? Price point, all that sort of stuff for the people that and for me as well, but for the people watching.
Okay, cool. So the box itself is basically a celebration of independent brands, and by that we mean the brands that have gone into it. So you've got Eagle, Green Golf UK, Green Fox. I forgot what they're called. That's really awkward. I nearly had to take it off and have a look, but
for YouTube, I'll edit that out.
Green Fox. I was big fans of these quite early on, and now they've kind of come back out with their blackout stuff, which is really cool. And we've got Fescue and Dunes with their, I'm a big fan of their coffee and things like that.
Yeah, I need to. I messaged him at the weekend. I was going to place an order, but I completely forgot over the weekend, and I've got to get on it. I love my coffee. I messaged him. I was like, which coffee I like a good, strong, rich coffee. Like, which one do you? And they sort of helped me out a little bit. And so I've got to
bring it home. I like Bring It Home. The Lynx Diary is nice, but I like Bring It Home. That's kind of my kick me in the wake me up in the morning kind. So we've got the brands in there, and I think for me it was about kind of like how can they need to be brands that I'm interested in, because they're not kind of all my passions behind them. Obviously kind of the likes of Eagle and stuff like that. Rob's been brilliant. I know you've now got your him, which is really cool. He's got a very good business plan on him. So it was about having passion behind the brands that were kind of going in there. So it's a celebration of those brands. So we've got kind of those brands that are a bit more established and people kind of know about. And then you've then kind of got brands that people like are emerging. So like EGN with their claw glove. They're kind of starting to now come to the fore a little bit more with what they're doing. They've just made their latest one. So the idea of the box basically is, the core of it is to have brands that you may have heard of, but also brands that you might not have heard of. And you're getting these brands at a reduced price, basically price point. So at this one, you'll get a saving of, it's now over 50% because of Open Tea now dropping in their membership as well, which is worth £50 a year. So you're getting exposure to a brilliant brands. You're getting them at a discounted rate, and the majority of the box is limited edition. So you won't find those outside of the box.
Right, okay. Which
is really cool, and really cool of the brands. Like the Green Fox, theirs is going to be limited edition, whatever they bring. Eagles, theirs is going to be limited edition. I'm doing a crossover with 17, which is our first collab, which is really cool. And Fescue are doing one as well. So like we're buzzing because it's not just that, it's a showcase. So it might be that you buy that box because of one brand, you really like one or two of the brands, and you get exposed to another brand.
Yeah.
And that for us is the kind of the whole point of what we're doing, and the whole point of the AGC and the website and everything is to start kind of helping each other out. It's a marketing tool, if you like.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, it's a way of us earning some money in order to be able to do this.
That's life, man, isn't it? That's like,
exactly.
You got to make a little bit.
Yeah. So that's kind of the core of it. It's also got another kind of round to it is with the Golf Trust. So with each box in the future and on the website, they'll be raising awareness of an initiative. And something that we're going to do a bit more with those over there. Kind of, we're in discussions with Kai at the minute about how we can start. We haven't really given them enough attention on this at the moment, so we want to. So it's about growing the game. We all keep talking about growing the game of golf. Yeah. Well, let's do it. How can we do that, and how can we facilitate that? So that's it at the core of it.
Cool, man. So say I go onto the website now. I put a box in my cart. I check out. When I receive that box, what am I receiving in there? What am I getting?
You're teasing too much. So it's
am I overstepping the mark a little bit?
No, you're fine. So this has kind of been one of the biggest challenges, is how much we kind of give away, if you like. Initially, it was going to be completely exclusive and we weren't going to tell anybody anything. But we've kind of understood, as we've evolved over this first week, we've had to start kind of giving more and giving people kind of more information, because they're putting faith in something they don't know. Yeah. Future boxes, well, people will have a bit more of an understanding of what we're doing. So it's a bit of a punt on our part. So on this one, it's themed around the Masters. So there'll be some other bits and pieces from paraphernalia, if you like, or other bits in there that will kind of be a little bit more fun and a little bit more, not just getting the box, because we wanted to give you value for money. We didn't want to just pack it through these bands and you open it and there you go. So, the idea is you'll open it up. Hopefully you won't know exactly what's in there. And it's going to be a surprise. I kind of get that warm, fuzzy feeling. We'll all be back playing golf by then. And you'll get it in time for Masters Week. So it will come just before Masters Week. And then hopefully that will kind of set you up to be all kitted up in your Masters stuff, sitting there, ignoring the family for the weekend and kind of immerse you in the Masters. Yeah. That's the idea. And then, that's kind of the plan.
That sounds really, really, really cool. Really, really cool. I mean, I think it's certainly an idea that I guess has never really been. It's never been something like mystery boxes and stuff have gone on across many different forms of sneakers, all that sort of stuff. But to get it into, I'm not saying that that's what this is in such, but it's similar.
It's an element, though. It's an element to that, and so that's very much what we wanted to do at the start. But we've kind of realised for people to put their faith in us at the beginning, we've kind of got a bit. I am going to stick to my guns a little bit and my judgment in saying we're not going to give everything away. Yeah. But people know they're getting a ball marker from Northern Ball Markers, which is cool. Yeah. That's one thing. You're going to get the membership from Open Tee, and we just wanted to give people an understanding of some of the kind of bits and pieces you're going to get in there. And we've now listed on the website kind of what you'll be getting, just not what they're going to look like, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and that was the reason why I asked. Is I went on and looked, and I think it was like a shirt, maybe a pair of trousers or something like that in there. And did I see that right?
No.
I don't see that right. I'm on the wrong website.
So it is 2 pieces of apparel.
That's sorry. That's what.
Sorry, we didn't want to pin it down like that. So 2 pieces of apparel, 5 accessories, kind of just your general golfing accessories. Yeah. 1 wearable accessory, and you can kind of guess what these kind of things are if you kind of look in.
Well,
Yeah. 1 piece of artwork, limited edition artwork, which is pretty cool. And your Open Tee membership as well, which is being thrown in there. And we're doing something with Joe Macro on Sunday. We're going to do another we're adding something else pretty cool to it as well, kind of as a bit of an end thing, which is really cool. So, we're really pleased with we've tried to kind of be as diverse as we can. Yeah. And trying to give you a bit of everything, so you set up for golf. So hopefully kind of people will enjoy it and like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And price point wise?
Price point, so it's $99.95. Now, obviously, when people kind of look at that, we are very aware that it's quite a high price point, which is why we've tried to get as much of a saving as we can. Because to pay out that, you wouldn't normally necessarily pay that on. But with the amount of stuff that you're getting in there, and also the savings you're getting in there, hopefully people understand that. But also for us, if we'd have done it at a lower price point, we wouldn't have been able to have as many in there. So we wanted to try and get as much in there. We're not making massive profits off or anything like that, because there's a bigger goal to what we want to do. It is very much about getting the brands out there. It's not just about me. I'm not going to become a millionaire overnight. I know that from this, because that's not the aim. The aim is I genuinely have a love, as you can see, for what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. That's one of the things for me that has been so apparent with everyone that I've spoken to doing these lives, and just speaking to people and just hearing people's passion in what they're doing, and Robbie's a fantastic example at Eagle. Is, you know, you listen to him talk, and he's watching, so I can say it. I could hardly get him off the call. Like, he's just wants to, like, keep talking, which is so
he does
cool,
go on a bit. He does go on a bit. I was going to say that because he dug me out about my post earlier saying it's not Golf Guru, and I was like, I know it's not Golf Guru. Trying to give it all the bit. That was a play on, and then so I thought, no, he's trying to make me nervous. It was literally minutes before I come on. I was like, you're such a dude. But no, he is so passionate about what he does, and he's been such a winner for kind of the box. He's been very much a driving force person.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously then. Yeah, he's in the comments now, isn't he? We can. This is the best thing about the comments is we can ignore them. This far.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting in on it now.
He does go on a lot. Hipsters now on him as well.
That's what's awesome. Is obviously with what, you know, you have the passion for it, and as long as, you know, for you to work alongside people who share that passion for the product and then delivering service, I mean, that's only gonna, for me, amass to a great product at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why we've picked who we've picked. Is they're brands that I personally enjoy and I personally like, because it was important for me to, like, I know that at some point we're going to have to stock people, not have to, but we will stock people that aren't necessarily my taste, but that's part and parcel. And the diversity of independent golf is there's so many options out there. But to start with, it had to be about what I was interested in order for me to have that passion and drive to push it forward, if you see what I mean. And every band will get the same attention, you know. It's just to start with, you know, it's like if you're interested in what you're doing, then it makes it easier to kind of talk about it.
Absolutely, it makes it easy to sell it as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely, yeah. So
obviously, moving on to the future, have you got sort of a pool of brands that you feel like you'd like to dip into, or do you have like a set sort of, I'd like to have this person involved, or, you know, or do you reckon that's going to sort of change over time?
That'll change and evolve. We're doing a lot of stuff with some certain people at the minute. What's been brilliant is people have actually taken to the website more than I kind of expected, which is brilliant. Right. And it's kind of given people a bit of a forum of what we're about, and kind of, which is really great. As much as I can keep pestering people in stories and keep bringing the stuff on Insta, that we want to be wider than that. So our ultimate goal is to Insta has given us a huge platform and put us where we are now. But the idea is to kind of go outside of Instagram at some point. We want to get into pro shops. We want to get into, at some point, the dream is to like Melbourne or the Tropical Golf Club over in the States.
Yeah.
Like they've got shops and stuff like that. That's the Linksole shop. Things like that. Ironically, I went past the Linksole shop when I was over in California and didn't even realise until I got home, and I was devastated.
Oh man,
that's kind of the dream, is to kind of look at that model and at some point get into a pro shop. That'd be cool. So, but we've got something. We actually had a conversation tonight with somebody about something we want to do about kind of spreading the word a little bit more to the outer world about independent golf. So that should be pretty exciting. In the short term, we've got some more boxes planned. So we've got one coming. I don't want to give it away too much just yet.
Okay.
But we're already talking to some other brands.
Right.
Sliced Tea is just dropped in the bottom there. The site is looking at. Thank you, mate. Hopefully James is going to be in a position to get his stuff going. So he's definitely in one. So that's one I really want to do something with James because of just how great he's been. And just, kind of like there's been a few brands that we've kind of been chatting with recently, which is buzzing because I wasn't sure if I was going to mention it or not, but basically kind of we're looking, hopefully the 1st of March, to open up our shop online.
Oh, sweet.
So that will be, it won't be massive. We're not going to kind of step on other people's toes. It's not what we're going to do. You know, I don't want to be very conscious of that kind of thing, but it's just going to be, again, it's an addition to the box. So the boxes will remain because they're cool. They'll become more the exclusive and the limited edition type stuff, but they will, we just want to kind of, another element to what we want to do. cool. And just keep building the website and spreading the word, really. Speaking to people like yourself, know a bit more about kind of how we can do stuff and just, building the network, building the collective.
Definitely. And do you always want to keep it at the $99.95 mark, or do you see offering like different boxes at different price points? Do you think that'd be am I asking questions?
No, you're fine. No. And to be fair, it's stuff I probably need to start talking about a little bit more. So yes, I do have plans for different size boxes. Okay. Like I say, I've got plans for bigger boxes. Literally, it's just getting the right brands on board and hitting the right price point at the right time and giving it enough of an appeal, if you see what I mean. So the difficulty, £100 is quite a good mark because you if you know you're getting value for money, you don't mind too much. Like once or twice, like because we're not bringing them out every month, you kind of go, okay, I'll maybe save for the next one, depending on your set. But if we go much bigger than that, we really need to be giving some serious kind of bang for your buck. But I am kind of considering doing something smaller, which I don't want to talk about too much.
Okay.
But that will be super exclusive stuff.
Right.
And that will be kind of one-off, really, really kind of every now and then type stuff. But I want to do a sustainable box, kind of like purely sustainable, like really showcase sustainability. And for me, sustainability is not just the brands, it's the sustainability of golf in the long term. We're talking about grow the game, like Kieran's make golf accessible. We're all talking about these kind of things, and we're all driving towards making golf sustainable for the future. Not just in the material, but in everything. So we want to do that. I want to do more kind of lady stuff. So this box is unisex. Kind of wanted to put that out there as well.
Yeah.
I'm working with Rob to try and make sure that we produce something unisex. Ladies, kids, kind of we want to do some stuff for kids. So yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff planned. It's quite exciting. There's loads of little kids brands kind of popping up now. Noisy Golf is really cool. They do some really cool stuff. And like I say, Rob's talking to me about the lady stuff at the minute. So yeah, I've got a few of the women's brands out there. You can tell I'm getting excited. I'm talking quicker and quicker.
That's from my perspective. From my perspective, man, that's absolutely perfect. I just asked a question. If you elaborate as much as possible, it works very nicely for me.
Depends what time you got to go for work in the morning. So,
dude, I've not been working for a long time, man.
Really? So, are you furloughed?
Yeah. So
let's not. I don't want to.
Being a golf pro, and it's not been a great time for us. So yeah, hopefully March time things will look a little brighter. Fingers crossed. That's really cool.
So I'm very passionate about what we're doing. I've given quite a bit away there, but hopefully that kind of see people. You get very paranoid when you're doing stuff. You don't want to give too much away. You don't want to just because there's like there's such a revolution in golf at the minute. It's really exciting. Like you must see it, especially with the people you've had over the last couple of weeks. It's been really cool seeing the people that have been on here, and there's a real buzz about golf. It's really exciting. It's a really cool time to be part of it. But in the same side, I'm not going to lie, I get paranoid sometimes. Like I don't want to tell too much to too many people because what if somebody does it? I'd like to think now that people kind of know what we're about, and there's other brands that do stuff similar to us. There's another brand out there that's doing something very similar, but they've got their niche, they've got their market, and they're kind of more mainstream stuff, and they're owning it. They're doing great what they do, and they've got a really good product. So we're not interested in stepping on anybody else's toes, but in the same breath, it's a competitive market. That's the point. You become a business, but at the core of it, we're about representing independent golf and doing the best we can to do that. So. Yeah, we're going to do what we can to do that.
Instagram is a crazy place, isn't it? Because, for the most part, we get exposed to the accounts that we have the most interaction with. So I guess, from your perspective, I'm guessing it to a degree would have been difficult because you want to create this product and get brands involved. But I guess Instagram can kind of blinker you a little bit into... Right, these are the brands that I just keep seeing, and like you've mentioned a couple of brands here that I haven't really heard of, and obviously that's probably because the blinkers have been on, and I see what I see. Yeah. And if you don't look outside, you don't necessarily see outside.
I think because of the way that the stuff that I'm looking at, and the kind of ironically the tags that I'm using and things like that, the hashtags and all that, it kind of gives me. Weirdly, I find the brands quite often, and now I'm finding that they actually now start following me, which is really cool. But hopefully that hopefully shows that actually, like, I'd probably say at least once or twice a week I discover a new brand that has followed me, and like are really, really early. So I'm quite like, there was one tonight. There's another brand that's come out tonight. I was literally just looking at them. Like Swing, kind of their caps are now really cool. We've been chatting with them a little bit. I think they're on, actually.
I think they are, yeah.
Yeah. So kind of we discovered them recently. We've been chatting a little bit, and but even like the bigger bands like Bandit and stuff like that. I think that's like, even they're still independent. It's just easy to kind of lose focus on. So it's not easy finding the smaller brands. Like the weekday shout outs I do are they're great, but it's surprising how much work they take. Just kind of getting in there and finding the brands, and especially when you've got brands that have just got coming soon, and you're like, really like looking at them, but I don't know kind of. Yeah, it makes it tough, but it's cool. I love it though. I love kind of sitting there discovering it, and kind of, we've got a young family. We've got a 5 month old nearly. I mean, my wife.
Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks very much. So it's finding that balance. That's the biggest thing at the minute. Is just finding that balance, and sitting there on my phone all the time is kind of have to find my moment. So I have to go in the office, not this one. Working. So cool.
One thing that I like to obviously discuss with a lot of people is the state of golf fashion, and obviously, yourself being pretty clued up as to where it's at the moment. Where do you see it in the next sort of 5-10 years? Is it going to be hoodies all over the place? Are we going to be still beating the drum to try and break down dress codes? What do you reckon?
I think we're always going to have a bit of a mix, and I think that's one of the great things about it. I think with Swing just said, sorry, mate. I did give you a shout. It wasn't intentional, but you
just came.
I did. I think with hoodies, they've always been there. That's the thing. It's just happened that Tyrrell stuck one on in quite a high profile thing, 1 in 1, and everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. I was wearing one before then, not intentionally. Not because I was trying to make a statement or trying to say I did it first by any means. There's always been that there, and there is, as people have always been, like, you go back and look at like Pulse and Daily and things like that. Like, they've always had that diversity in what they've been wearing, so it's always been there. People always push the boundaries. It's just now becoming like more fashionable golf stuff. So even the top guys are doing it, like especially with the shoes and stuff that they're bringing out this year. Puma's new range is really cool. So it's not like we're not aware of that kind of stuff. In the future, I really do think that independent brands will start getting on there more and more. I mean, Rob's doing it with Eagle, with Liam wearing his stuff on tour.
Yeah.
And I know, where did I see it the other day? Is it Van Roon? Van Royn, that's it. Yeah, I can forget his name. He now is kind of wearing a bit more of the kind of non-mainstream stuff, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Rocket, he's been doing it for a little while as well, wearing kind of the non-mainstream. So it's getting there, and I do think that you will start, as these brands start building, and people, you might not see necessarily the top guys, because there'll always be that merchandising and that there'll always be the money will always come into it. But I think what you might find is you might hopefully, and I've never really thought about it before, it'd be cool to find a pro that would be an independent pro almost, so they wear a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And as a collective, like, we can get together and kind of almost package that person, and it'd be nice to get it into the lower ranks. And when I say, I don't mean that disrespectful. I mean as in kind of get it into the kids series and start, some of the as the cooler kids come through, because they're now on Instagram and very relevant.
Yeah.
As they go up, they'll start taking the brands with them, if you see what I mean. So hopefully that kind of thing will happen. Pro shops, I really think will start edging into pro shops. That's a big drive for me, is to start getting independent brands into pro shops. Like I say, we had a chat with somebody tonight about doing some more stuff around that. Rob will be getting a call at some point, so I can pester him about it, which He doesn't worry if I don't call him. Yeah, I think pro shops, and I think we'll end up getting on the tour. Maybe not in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But certainly look.
Oh, we got some buffering. Jay, you hear me all right? Yeah, I got you back now. Yeah, you're
good. Somebody messaged me and it just cut out. Sorry. Yeah, so I don't think. Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, certainly in the next 10 years, we'll definitely see independent brands on tour. I think. I really do think that. In the next 5 years, it'll be the lower tours.
Yeah, the thing is, the money on tour is so big at the highest of high levels, and I mean, I know a certain player who's a little lower down on the PGA Tour now. He was paid. He used to be a boss player and was paid a good amount from them, and then it's quite cutthroat because if that brand doesn't want to sponsor them anymore, then you only got to look at someone like Patrick Reed, who's having to buy his own stuff, like he's buying his own G4 stuff to wear, and you're like a top player in the world. So I reckon I can.
Yeah, but that becomes with marketability, doesn't it? And kind of, unfortunately, he's not the flavour of the month. And what brands, a bit like happened with JT, like not getting into that too much. I'm not even reading what he's put. Depending what they're like even what happened with JT, like it's a rightly or wrongly, kind of the subject matter to one side, not because I'm disregarding that, but it's a fickle thing in far that you can get picked up and dropped, and it's about image, and we portraying the right image, completely right, but it's all about that stuff as well. And like you say, it's because it's a money industry, and that's why it's important to really support these independents as much as I'd love to see an independent shoe brand. And I mean, I'd love somebody to come up with something along the lines of what they're doing. I don't know how that would even come about. But I mean, I don't know if maybe that's something you could do. But do you know what I mean? And yeah, I did see something quite cool where you could these screw-in studs almost that go into the bottom of any shoe. They were quite cool, quite a novel idea. But
yeah, I definitely see the more independent brands getting love out on the tour from tour players because of that. There's just not that trickle down money. There's that big chunk at the top for the top 20, 60 players in the world, maybe not even 60. But and then lower down, I just don't think the money's there for these guys.
The only way I can honestly really see it happening is I know Melbourne are now on tour, aren't they? It's somebody like Melbourne or kind of probably one of the unfortunately for us because we're not over there, but one of the so over here would be somebody like, say for example, Liam with Eagle went and won a tour event, a European tour event.
Yeah.
Then that will start being on people's radar. Yeah. And so I think it's going to take somebody like somebody in one of the big majors to come from out the middle of nowhere and kind of win something in Melbourne or win something in kind of one of your brands over there. I think for that to happen, that's when you'll start possibly seeing, oh, cool, what they were. But that might just refer into sales to start with. But once that thing starts happening, I think the European tour is the main focus. That's where I think we should be looking at the minute, personally, just because I think it's the American market is so saturated, and there's some amazing brands over there, like Jordan's finding with Fine and Chris Colic and stuff like that. They're kind of finding all these American brands and stuff. So much homegrown and European brands. We're talking to a few European brands as well at the minute, which is really cool.
Okay.
So trying to bring them over there for a future idea that we've got. Which is cool. So yeah.
If I was to put you on the spot then and say, name me sort of like 3 brands from across the pond who you mess with, who you really like, and then sort of 3 from Europe, because it seems like from Instagram, if it's not UK and it's not the the US guys. I feel like European wise, I'm not overly clued up.
Okay. So if we're looking over kind of across the pond, I really like Public Drip and the stuff that they're doing at the minute. They're really cool. Union, they're pretty cool as well. They're bringing out some stuff at the minute. They're quite smart. Kind of, who else? And that's the thing. There are so many from over there that it's hard to kind of find any that nobody's kind of really talking about.
Yeah.
But I guess from the States, they're the kind of the two that I quite like at the minute, and I quite like some of their stuff. And there's a randomly kind of talking equipment. I can't think of the name of him. McCarthy Putters. He's quite cool. So when we talk kind of equipment as well, he's kind of developing putters, which is quite cool, and kind of seeing his process from like very early with CAD drawings and stuff like that. Because at some point we want to start looking towards equipment stuff, and then cause there's so many independent like Isla over here, James Ingle. There's so many independent Orca. So many. I know Orca are a little bit bigger now, but they're still very cool in the way they go about things and keep it low key, even the equipment side. So so there's those guys as well. And then Europe, I always pronounce them wrong. Ons Swiss. So they're the sock company. So they're just about to drop. And I think that's how you pronounce them. Solo Golf, they're really cool as well. They're doing the kind of the head governance and stuff like that over there. Am I still? Oh, sorry, did you see me? Yeah. So obviously Caddy Boo, people kind of know who they are now, and they're the ones that do the small towel. Have you heard of them?
I think so.
So they do. I'll just show you this because I've got one. So they do the small towel. So it's just like kind of fits in the bags.
Oh wow.
So they do that. But what they also do alongside that is they do a lot of kind of initiative stuff. Kind of working with charities and kind of not just within golf, they do all sorts. So they do some really cool stuff.
Okay.
Like I say, the Flyers Club over in the States actually, they just done the pretty cool drop with Northern Ball Markers and Hain. People like that are kind of their price points kind of a little bit higher, but they just put a lot of quality in what they do. So I could go on for hours, keep thinking.
I was gonna say this is another one of the cool things. I keep saying it, but it's like one of the cool things about doing these lives is that I get put onto more brands. So I'm like obviously I follow who I follow at the moment, but without talking to people and speaking to people about what else is out there, there's so many. And this is the thing with Instagram. Instagram's just given so many brands such a great platform to go ahead and just showcase it, just showcase what you've got, what you can offer. And obviously I think lockdowns as well have been massive for people to just have a second to go, should I do this? Should I launch that brand? Should I not do it? And then just go, sod it. I've got this time now. If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And then they've just launched this. So much good has happened because of it.
Yeah, I think definitely kind of from a personal perspective, I've spent more time with my wife and my daughter than I would have done, would have imagined to be fair. I'm quite lucky I work from home anyway, but from that personal perspective, but also it's given me the platform and the time to be able to really do this and do it, hopefully do it well and put thought into it and network. People are available more than anything else. People are around and are about to pick up the phone because they're not on the golf course. Yeah. Like I've spoken to a couple of people now that are kind of doing the same kind of thing I'm doing, kind of building and trying to get out there. And secretly, we're kind of going, maybe give it another couple of weeks before we open. Right. Just because we just, you've got a bit of momentum now.
Yeah.
But actually, today I had conversations with people and even I'm it's the same content all the time. And it's cool content and people are being inventive in what they're doing. Yeah. We just want to be a fairway, man.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's what we all do. I'm very much about the mental health side of stuff. I want to get out there. Ironically, these lives have been great that I've been doing and watching you guys doing stuff because that's where I go to disappear. Golf is my solace. if you know what I mean. Outside of the girls, kind of, golf is where I go to just switch off. And I miss having walking the fairways, I must say. This is brilliant outlet for it. But
that's for me one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why I started. I started thinking, look, if like 2 people watch them, then like whatever. It's, if I get a chance to chat with some cool people, and it just took my mind off things. Like I found the first couple of weeks of this lockdown in particular just difficult, just flat, and just no enthusiasm, no. And this is the thing when you have a YouTube channel and you have an Instagram account, if you're not active and you're not uploading, you can quickly get forgotten about to a degree.
Yeah.
But I just found it so difficult to just turn on the camera and just try and just come up with some content or just do anything. And so these lives were like a nice, if I could get into a bit of a groove and maybe do 2 or 3 a week, and just gives me the opportunity to, just think about something and look forward to something as well.
Yeah, very much so. And the same as you, just at the start of this lockdown, I probably proper went downhill. Mental health was not in a good place. But ironically, I was still doing this stuff. And then as soon as the new year hit, I kind of not rebranded, because it was already starting to go that way. My designer, Lost Souls Creative, by the way, are really cool. They do a lot of our kind of design stuff, and they did the website and everything. So he kind of came back with like this kind of black and gold and white, and I kind of started to play around with that, and I never really had an identity, and it's still finding its way. And it just gave me that kind of, I needed something to focus on because I wasn't on the course, and like you say, it was difficult to kind of get that motivation. So that's kind of, I just thought, right, I need to tidy things up a bit. How do I do that? And it gave me the time to kind of think of it, and that's why, like, now, because like you say about the brands, like who we thinking of, if you go on like my highlights on the independent golf, you've got, for like the weekdays where we're doing Monday to Friday, I do the shout outs for the independent brands. To start with, I was doing 4 or 5 a day, and that was just crazy. But good exposure, and the idea was, and then it's just become, got more and more of an identity and tidy things up. So it gave me the space and time to do that, and it gave me an escape. And kind of gave me some more direction, if you like, and opened up a lot of avenues, and just kind of showed people that we weren't about necessarily so much my journey, if you like. Everybody's doing their own journey. There's loads of people doing their journeys, and that's cool. But we wanted to share other people's journeys and other people's stuff, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of that, and that's genuine. That is anybody that talks to me and spends a bit of time talking to me about what I'm doing. Like, my wife says to me, "Why are you just doing this for everybody else?" Like, and she says it with the best of love. And she's not getting anything back. And the end goal is, yes, I want to be doing this full time. I want to be doing something around this full time, so yes, I want to make some money out of it at some point. But ultimately, that's not how it started. And it just happens that if it develops into that, winner, because I think I've got enough drive to be able to do it and speak to people like you and things like tonight. Genuine honour being on tonight, because I was just buzzing when you asked me. I just thought,
it's an honour for me to have you on as well, because I think what you're doing is really, really cool. It's something that for me is you're doing something that's almost never been done before. It's you're creating hype around a product. You're showcasing the right brands. It's got meaning behind it. There's obviously the golf trust element side of it, and this is the great thing about the lives as well, is getting to talk to you. Is I see your logo crop up on my feed, and I like the pictures and I view the stories, but I don't necessarily. I've watched a couple of the lives. I've slipped in and slipped out on a few of the lives, but so it's putting a face to a name. It's it's a person behind the brand, and I really love what you're doing. That's why I wanted to ask you. I wanted to get on and find out some more information about it, because there might be a few people watching this who don't know anything about it and might be intrigued. And if that leads them to following you and sort of participating in what you're doing, I think that's winning, isn't it?
Well, good. Yeah, definitely. Appreciate it. Thank you, mate. And like you say, the lives we've been doing this week is giving people an insight into, like the one we did with. Oh, thank you, mate. So like the one we did with Rob, like, because we already have that rapport anyway, and he's good people. That was why it was a good one to start with, and it was good to chat with him and talk about that. It was an easy one to start with, and then speaking to the other guys, Open Tea, and kind of Dan Northern Bullmark, because he doesn't often do stuff like that. So we speak on quite regularly. So it's nice to kind of get him, encourage him to get out there and do that, because of what he's doing now. That's what he's doing full time now. He's throwing himself into it completely.
Right.
So to get people to see the face behind the brand, it is really cool. And like, all props to you for doing these. And we've got some more coming with the other brands. Like I say, we've got hopefully Fescue and Dunes are going to be this week. And then Joe. So yeah, it's cool. It's a great platform. Insta is fantastic. It has a side to it that, that will always be there, unfortunately. But also it means I get to speak to people like yourself and people that love the game and just obsessed with it. And,
absolutely. Well, dude, I've taken up a lot of your time this evening. I really appreciate you obviously taking up a lot of your evening and to jump on and have a chat about all things golf and educate me in what you're doing. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you to everyone who's hopped on and viewed at any point this evening. We really appreciate you, as well as Jay giving up time in your evening to hop on and listen to us chop it up. It's been a lot of fun. So this chat, Jay, will go up on my feed. It'll be on the story. It'll be on the story. It'll be on the feed for a week or so. Then I'll upload it onto to YouTube, so it'll be there for all of eternity. So
we're gonna stick it up on our website as well, if that's cool with you. We'll talk about that. So thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much, buddy. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.